Hello, everybody. Welcome, Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Trying to hit 40k subs over here, so that subscription would be much appreciated. If you have followed me for a while, seen what I like to say about the landscape of NBA media for a while, you would know that I am no big fan. And in fact, a big part of the reason that I even do this myself is because I have found that the mainstream brand of NBA news, content, etc., has always been not in a very good state. I feel like it has gotten worse and worse over the years. We recently made hater manifestos over on the Deep Dive channel for both Stephen A. Smith and Shaq, just because I feel like they are very massive figures, not just in the literal sense for Shaq, but like massive figures in the NBA media landscape, guys who I blame a lot of the bad parts of NBA media on. But one of the things to watch out for this upcoming season is that we do have a change of pace. We have different people covering the game. We have a whole new squad between NBC and I can't remember what the other network is off of the top of my head. But there's already been some pretty positive signs. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is King of the Fourth Corner. King of the Fourth Corner. So Kenny is not joining like the actual NBC crew, even though he has made it clear that that is definitely in his aspiration, but rather that his properties, his podcasts and all of that will be streaming on Peacock, I believe from like 12 to 1. I'm hoping this is a sign for him getting a foot in the door and potentially doing even bigger things over there. I am, of course, personally incentivized by that, just because like I feel like as high as Kenny goes, that raises the ceiling for the online content creation, the online NBA space more and more. So anytime good things are happening for Kenny, I think good things are happening for the space. But beyond him individually, there is also just some better coverage happening, period. Tim Legler, who I am a big fan of. Tim Legler is like a really, really awesome media guy because he manages to have actual NBA experience without being, let's just be honest, a dickhead about it. He is just very good at actually discussing the game, very good at breaking things down. In fact, I didn't even recognize him to be a former NBA player when I first heard about him. Not only does he not really give off that vibe, but he very much seems like a perfectly trained media personality, very, very good at dissecting the game, and not one of the former players who is only there because they're a former player and does not actually have the capacity to do the job properly. I am talking about Kendrick Perkins, among quite a few others. But I want to highlight this segment.
Play the first time, and then as we run it back, anywhere you want to stop it, point out what you want.
Sure. I mean, look, so this was our sort of death line. You can stop it right here. And you see the physicality in that screen. Rui passing AD along to Austin. Austin meeting Anthony Davis, being physical with him on the roll. We talk all the time in isolation, particularly against guys that can knock down threes like Klay Thompson. We want to use that stick hand. Rui Hachimura is the best guy on our team using that stick hand in isolation. So he prevents the three. And then look, we're a team defense. We didn't last year, we're not going to this year. We don't have lockdown defenders. So we rely on our help defense, we rely on our shift presentation. And Doe gets a little bit out of position here and gets beat on this stampede cut from Najee Marshall, but we've got a rim collision. You've got verticality, you can block a shot or you can take a charge. Austin was great for us all.
I don't know about the formatting of this because sometimes the green screen in front of the play like actually blocks some of the nuances of the action. But like at the very least, this is actually a conversation that's being had instead of everyone just yelling at each other. And LeBron even said, love to see this. Hot take culture is so tired. And yeah, I tend to agree. That was a big part of the Stephen A. Smith hater manifesto is like hot take culture and like debate culture has just gotten so out of hand and so unappealing. And like, I don't need everything to be an X's and O's conversation. That's not what it's about, but I need it to be a legitimate conversation and an informed conversation and a not intentionally inflammatory conversation. Something that I watched Kenny's video when he was talking about the NBC deal, and like he was saying that as much as he wanted to grow, he didn't want to compromise and just go for like the most clickbait, hot take, over the top thing. And I very much respect that. I'm trying to make the same approach. Not that I am without hot takes, because like I obviously have some takes that are very out there, especially like as it relates to John Stockton, as it relates to like just the concept of playmaking in general. Like I have some pretty out there opinions, but for the most part, I try to keep it within the realm of reason, and that's not really a guiding principle of your average NBA media personality, especially the ones who get the most coverage, because unfortunately, it is also just kind of human nature to give more attention to the more inflammatory remarks and all of that. So I am excited for this. I say this as someone who does not know nearly as much about X's and O's as I would like to. I certainly know more now than I did like even 2 years ago, because I would say 2 years ago I was strictly entirely a novice in that area and was just going off of vibes more so, which I'd like to think has made my content better. But like there's like a humbling aspect to this, because look, Doc Rivers is one of the most laughed at head coaches in the NBA, and I don't think he's done himself any favors. Like I think that quote that I think we even covered on this channel from like a little under a year ago, because this channel's not even a year old, but he was talking about the fact that I believe he's blown 3 3-1 leads in his career, 2 with the Clippers, 1 with the Orlando Magic. I don't remember who the Magic were playing, but it was against the Rockets in the Lob City era, and then the Nuggets in the bubble. Was it the Nuggets in the bubble that they blew a 3-1 lead? I think so, because I think the Nuggets also came back from 2 3-1 leads that same shit, because they did the same thing versus Utah. But anyways, he had a quote where he was like, no one wants to talk about the win or like the fact that we went 3 up in the series. It's just only about blowing it. And it's like, yeah, man, it is only about blowing it, and for very good reason. So like, I'm not saying Doc Rivers has not earned a lot of the shit that's come his way, but Doc Rivers still knows way more about basketball than you, still knows way more about basketball than I. There are blind spots that anyone has, and there are still things to be critical of. Just because someone is more knowledgeable in an area does not mean they're impervious to being wrong. But stuff like this, I think, can be a proper amount of humbling, where you see like, yeah, Doc Rivers actually knows shit. He's not just like writing something like writing give ball to Giannis in the playbook. Like this set right here, even though all this action's going on over here, as he is highlighting like the defense, Tyrese Halliburton's pointing here at Gary Trent, like he's expecting this action to be on the strong side, but actually there is this Dairy Bird, AJ Green has been left open here. Miles Turner has his head turned looking at the action, and Bobby Portis can just set this screen, and then AJ is wide open for a 3-pointer. Like that stuff, it's a good discussion. It's productive discussion. It is it's what you want to see, period. Dom2K also adding, this is a huge turning point in basketball coverage if it sticks. I really hope it does. I hope this just does not end up just being a flash in the pan and we're right back to business as usual pretty soon in. And specifically, like, if you agree with what I've said in this video, if you agree on my point of view on NBA media for the last decade, then please make sure to support this stuff as much as you can, because a part of the reason why the inflammatory stuff became as prevalent as it did is because it's what sold. And like, we as audience members, like the one thing that Stephen A said in his shit-ass documentary that I agreed with was like, yeah, consumers need to consume a little bit more intentionally, a little bit more responsibly, and if it's strictly just whatever is the most attention grabbing every single time, then that is what you are going to get every single time. So yeah, hopefully the tides are turning. Nothing that significant yet, but I'm already liking what I'm seeing. Also, just straight up, like, it's definitely pure nostalgia, but when I hear the NBC intro music, dude, oh my god, it brings me back to a very fun vibe, like a historical vibe. I don't have like actual personalized nostalgia for it because I wasn't watching the NBA back when NBC was the main broadcaster. At least I don't think. When's the last time? I don't remember when that deal broke, but I think it was in the 2000s or something like that. But the music goes so hard. I love the NBC music so much, and I hope this is I hope there's good things coming. That's basically the point. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.